Okay, think we're live here? All right, we're ready to go. What is going on? We are doing Archmage of Runes for the Chase or Not series. I played with him a little bit, and so far he's been not bad, but also not amazing. So I'll show you what I've done with him so far. I got this little deck for Aminatu. Um, Actually, I think the proper pronunciation is Aminatu. So that is something interesting to know. But we're just playing some kind of weird stuff I don't play that much, along with, some obvious staples. We got Archmage of Runes. At the beginning of your turn, reduce the cost of each spell card in your hand by 4 until the beginning of your next turn. Magecraft 2, draw a card, and that card gains half its mana. So really, a couple of issues with it. The Magecraft, I wish was a higher number. So Magecraft, if you don't know, it triggers when you cast or copy a spell card up to the given number of times per turn. So the copying spell card is kind of interesting because there are a couple of ways to do that in standard right now. And then also Squeaky Raw does that with his ability. So there's a couple of ways to use this card, but I thought that it would be interesting to try and see what we can do with the Magecraft 2 part of it. So that's what we're doing here. We got a decent amount of spells. We got Coma World Eater, which is a fun card to play around with. Started messing with it a little earlier, and then I found out that there is a bug with it, which one I like to dub a good jelly bean. The reason I call good bugs good jelly beans because you never know with this game if a bug is going to be in your favor or against you. So it's like the old Jelly Bellies when you could either get one that tastes like green apple or boogers. So this is a good jelly bean. It's not a booger. And then, Key to the Vault, one with the multiverse. And then Mind Splice Apparatus. Not a lot of people are using this card, but it is actually pretty decent. At the beginning of your turn, the support gains oil counter 3, then reduce the cost of each spell card in your hand by X until end of turn. X is this support's oil counter value. So I don't think a lot of people are playing this card because when people run spell slinging decks, they usually want it to build something that loops. And so a thing like this that only triggers once per turn is a little less valuable in those kind of decks. But if you're not playing a looping deck, but you just still want to play with a lot of spells, it is a pretty good card. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Non-looping spell decks, which is not usually my favorite type of deck to build, but it still works. So I'll show you how this goes here. Playing Aminatu because she is just my favorite planeswalker right now. Looking forward to getting to my review of her because I truly think that she's a game changer in a way that her third ability just lets you play cards that just lets you play all your high cost cards really early in the game, especially if you ramp up to her third ability really quickly. And that means you can just get an advantage on your board state so much quicker than even Dakon, which I do love Dakon. I personally think that she might be better in a few ways, but I'll talk about that when I actually do the review of her. But yeah, you could see that we're really reducing the cost of these high cost spells pretty significantly because we're doing a reduction of 4 just by having this guy on the board. And then the more we play our Mind Splice apparatus, the more the oil counter grows. And so we're going to be able to reduce the cost of spells in our card, or reduce the cost of the spells that we grab even more so every time. So drawing the card, giving it half its mana. Hopefully you grab a spell when you do that, so that when you grab it next turn, it's going to be basically free for us. But, you know, there's Key to the Vault doing its thing, and that's also helping. So that was cool. We got one with the Multiverse getting us a free card, Key to the Vault giving us a free card, and then hopefully the Archmage of Runes and okay, yeah. So Archmage of Runes it also I forgot that first ability creates a copy of a card. So if we copy a spell, that means we grab another spell and it gets half its mana. So that's actually some pretty neat little synergy there. Not something I really was even thinking about, but hey, that's why we do these, so we can learn things about these cards, right? Get a little buff on our creatures. Nothing too significant. But we are on our way to winning here. One with the Multiverse. So yeah, a lot of free cards per turn. If we want to do this, we can also use a third ability and get more creatures and stuff into play. Got a nice hit with all the reinforcements we have going on. That's another way. I haven't really been able to demonstrate it yet. But if you build up your side of the board with tokens, you can do a really insane amount of life loss with just their third ability, and it actually becomes a win con. And it's not, I don't think it's really meant to be that way, but the fact that you can use it that way is really powerful as well. So there is, was that our first battle with this deck? I think it was. But yeah, that actually went really well for us. Can run it one more time. Now, speaking of, Squeaky Raw, we'll do a couple battles with him and see what we can do with our Archmage of Runes in that type of battle. So, okay, we can power up our Archmage and see if we can get to her third ability and put our other cards here into play. Okay, so we mystically teach into what do you call it? Into a Golden Wish, hopefully. All right, so we can play our mystical teachings, clear up a little bit of room in our hand, play that. Oh, we got to also attribute to hunger with half its mana. That's good. We'll do that. Sounds good to me. Golden Wish. Golden Wish will get us to her third ability like that. We actually don't really need it yet because we don't have a lot in our exile. So we will build up her exile first and then just load up on loyalty here. Okay, we had a key to the vault, so we get another one of those, which is cool. Oh, we did have one with the multiverse already in play. Oh, we'll just do another one of our second ability and see if we can ramp up to her third again. Not winning too fast, but we're also not losing at all either. So that's a good sign for us. Let's see, grab a golden wish. Okay, we hit our magecraft limit. Okay, not too worried about it. How things are going, we can take out their stuff with a requisition raid. We're going to use our third ability and put stuff into play. Sweet, we got our coma down. Coma is going to speed up our damage, but we're close to winning here anyway. There is the good jelly bean. If you noticed, I got a bunch of mana into my hand when they triggered ward. That is definitely not supposed to happen, but until it's fixed, have fun. Okay. Make some coma serpents. And yeah, so you can see this deck, even though it doesn't loop necessarily, it does move things along, and there is probably some way to make it a little bit loopier, which maybe we can build with the squeaky raw. So let's see if we can do something like that with this card. Go over to raw. Archmage of Runes. Maybe play like a Dragon Hawk or something like that. Hellraiser. Starting to see a little bit more Hellraiser, which is kind of interesting that it took people that long to catch on to how good Capricious Hellraiser is, but what a fantastic card. We need Mystical Teachings. I guess we could play Chaos Warp. Always a good card to play. Anyone else miss Cut Your Losses as much as I do? Man, that was a good card. Anything to build loyalty for us? Not really. Not in a spell. Could play like Time Stop or something like that. Lock and Load. Lock and Load is pretty good. And then a couple of spells like Hit the Mother Load. And do we want to do Over the Top, or should we put in some more defense? I think I will put in some extra defense here. Okay. Let's just see how this goes. Good 5 match. Okay. Gonna get my Archmage down first and then use his ability. Copy a spell. Which one should we copy? Hit the Motherlode? Sure. And then a Hellraiser? Alright. We should play a spell first. I guess we'll have to play Hit the Motherlode. Take out Lock and Load. We don't need it. Copy a spell. Oh, we didn't have room in our hand to trigger the Magecraft, so didn't quite work. Okay, that's fine. Mystical Teachings. So I wonder if I create 2 copies, do I trigger Magecraft twice? I'm not sure. Copy of Mystical Teachings, that's good. He's got nothing too scary. Get the Motherlode. Okay, we want Dragonhawk for sure. Oops. I messed that up. I meant to put Dragonhawk into play first. Okay, Mystical Teachings. Okay, I want the Archmage of Runes down. We could do this. Interesting. Okay, we get that Archmage down again. Maybe Lock and Load isn't the best card in this deck because I keep discarding the cards that I want from the Archmage, copying them. That deck was pretty clunky. I didn't love it. Could use Brass's Tunnel Grinder and possibly Wild Research. So I'm taking that out. Didn't really need Time Stop either. Actually, no, I kind of do like Time Stop. But what do I take out? Maybe Molten Collapse? Are we doing this? Okay, hold on. I need to restart, so I'll be right back. I hate when this happens. It's so annoying. I need to fix that somehow. It happens more and more often. I'm not sure why, but it's some sort of weird display bug, I think, where something gets triggered and then kind of covers up the UI so that you can't interact with it anymore. I wish I knew exactly what caused it, but until they fix it, you just have to restart. There we go. Okay, we want a Mystical Teachings into a Capricious Hellraiser. That would be fantastic. Okay, we want Dragonhawk, a Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Where's a good match? Okay, that works. Mystical Teachings into another Hit the Motherlode? Sure. And a Mind Splice. Works for me. Get that Tunnel Grinder. There we go. Okay, we can do this. I just want to see what happens if I copy 2 cards here. Oh, I didn't have enough room for the second. That's okay. Yeah, steal a golden wish. Why not? Okay, we time stop. And then get rid of them this way. Okay. This is cool. Okay. I'm curious to see where this battle is going to go. Don't need that one, but we could do this and copy a Chaos Warp. Sure. Oh, well, Tunnel Grinder I don't think is going to do anything now, but that's okay. We will Chaos Warp. Actually, now it should do something. Yeah, there we go. Because we put a card with no mana into our hand, so Tunnel Grinder will trigger. Okay, well, I still didn't love that deck, but it did what I needed it to do. It worked fine. So yeah, there we go. We can talk about this card, if it's a chase or not. Personally, I don't think it does enough to really make it something that you want to include in most decks. I think if you get it on your way to chasing other things, it's not a bad card to play around with because you can do some interesting things with it. Getting a card in your hand with half its mana, even if it's only twice a turn, will definitely help you move your deck along. And what I mean by that is, getting things from your library into play. If you pair this card with a deck that helps you do things like that, cards getting half their mana pair well with Follow the Bodies, for example. I just didn't really use it in any of these decks because I didn't feel like I was doing enough to put creatures into my graveyard to warrant it being a consistently useful card. So I didn't try Follow the Bodies in this one, but you could go that route if you went blue-black and put things into your graveyard that way. That works. But yeah, for the most part, I don't think that this is a creature that most people will be all that excited to play around with. It's okay. It's definitely not a bad creature, but when we're talking about creatures that really you want to play with and use on a consistent basis, you only have 3 slots in your um, side of the board on your battlefield to do things with. So every creature that you use has to have the most impact that it can, especially when you're building certain strategies that you're trying to accomplish. Well, missions you're trying to accomplish based on your strategies that you play. And although this card will help somewhat with that, I think that there are much better cards that can accomplish pretty much the same thing. I think Overlord of the Flood Pits is a much better card for keeping loops going and stuff, for example, if that's what you're after, because of the discard then draw, and it has no limit to the times it will discard and draw. It just needs to be triggered by like a enter the battlefield effect. But you do have to build for that as well. And this one is a little bit simpler and safer to play around with when you're building a strategy around that whole concept. But overall, I just don't think that this card makes the cut for most decks. So I'm going to say it's not a chase for most people. I think if you get it, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, but I don't think that it's going to be something that you're going to want to spend jewels to acquire it. So if you craft it with orbs, then you can, have fun with it that way. But, or if you just get a lucky pull, I think you can have fun with this card, but it's definitely not one that you want to spend resources really targeting. So there you have it. We are only a few cards left to analyze here in this series. So hope to see you in the next one.